That was the most incredible intro I've ever had in my life. Now I feel like I better not fuck this up because you set the tone. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending today. I'm truly humbled, and I just want to give Ross and the team a big round of applause. Give them a round of applause. Just because when I met Ross, we were actually at a bachelor's party at the bachelor's old man's house. It was very boring. It was just like canapes and cocktails and no strippers. So Ross and I naturally kind of had an affinity towards it. Is this thing even on? Yeah. Do I have, oh, there's a God voice. Ross and I met at the bachelor's, and that's how we became friends, and I taught Ross how to troll on the internet. Still learning. He's way too nice to be a troll, but we'll get there one day. So thanks very much for having me, and thank you guys for coming out today. Thank goodness it's Friday. If we did this on a Monday, all of you would be so boring and tired. Thank you to the Double Shot guys for the coffee, and to the lady that I spilled my coffee on earlier. Very sorry, big sorry. Where's the lady that I spilled my coffee on? I was outside, I had that little like awkward drop of, she's left, that awkward drop of cappuccino left in my mug, and I went to hug someone, I was like, wah! And then I was just, kind of did one of those things. I was like white girl drunk at 9 o'clock and yeah, so apologies for that cappuccino mishap. There's a free cappuccino waiting for you at Double Shots afterwards. Fantastic, cool. So let's get this started. So, yeah! Rent a crowd in the front. Thank you, Ross. I'm sorry it's so hot. The lady at the back. This is like startup environment. They don't have money for fucking aircon. So, yeah. There's a lady in the back called Sam with the blonde hair, two folds. Tell her she needs to install aircon in this place. Hi, Sam. And I might start sweating, so I would have taken those free hugs before we kicked off. So, yeah. Here we go. Okay. So, oh, there we go. I can't, oh, there we go. Your screen and that one was different. Anyway, cool. So this is called, I'm calling it Humble Brag, okay? And as a disclaimer, Ross has already mentioned that the only reason why I'm talking about humility is because it was a global topic. I would never have chosen that topic on my own. And then in terms of storytelling, you guys might not know this, but we are all lead characters in our own story, okay? Some of you might be having a lot less of an exciting movie than others in your life. And some of us are atrocious storytellers. So I think that's the great thing to take out of today, is that we all have a cool story. I'm the lead character in my story. You guys are the lead characters in your story. Some of you thinking, who's that douchebag on the stage? He's definitely a lowly character in my story. Okay? And the thing is, what's interesting about the South African digital landscape, a lot of you are creatives from digital industries, from advertising, all kinds of creative spaces, and sometimes a little bit more corporate and serious people with your checks and ties in the crowd. But the important thing is that in digital, there were a lot of dicks in the digital industry. This is a true story, that's why you guys are so serious right now. a lot of dicks in digital, okay? I don't ever want to be the biggest dick. I want to be the best dick. Okay? And that's my lesson for today. Yet another lesson. There's going to be many lessons today. Okay? And when you're tweeting said lessons, be sure to contextualize the lesson. Because I don't want to come across as a bigot or a racist in the online space. Okay? There's enough of you to create widespread chaos and panic. So let's just think before we tweet. Fantastic. Okay. So in every story, this is a terrible slide for this wall, but the basic structure of a story is as follows. There's a hero, there's a villain, and there's conflict. Okay? That's the kind of premise. Too loud. Okay. This is a great quote from Billy Crystal. He says, the size of a villain determines the size of a hero. Without Goliath, David's a punk throwing rocks. Okay? And that's a fantastic point. It's like everyone has a story, everyone has a villain, everyone has a hero. And if you're going to make an impact in this world, you need to tell your story as you're the best motherfucking hero the world has ever seen. Can we say fuck? Are we allowed to say fuck? we have a rule at Retroviral. There's only one F word you're not allowed to say. Flash mob. We're the activation people in the house. There was one actor. There we go. No more motherfucking flash mobs, please. Thank you. Cool. You have to tell the world how awesome you are. Okay? Otherwise, how are they going to know? How are they going to know how incredible you are if you don't tell them how awesome you are? But if that's the case, you better be fucking awesome. With a winky face. I'm a big fan of the winky face. I actually wanted to create a Vine once, 6 seconds of little human emojis. I think someone went and beat me to it. But it's just incredible. This is just like a side note. But check out these amazing like human emojis, right? This is the grinny face. And then the other day I saw someone take 2 blue balloons and blew them up like a little bit and then put them under their eyes. Like, best cryy emoji face in the world. Never lie, but it's okay to creatively package. We're here at Creative Morning, okay? So it's okay, like you have to big yourself up. Especially like there's a lot of startups in the space. I know like with Josie Hub next door, who of you are like startup crowds? Hands in the air, like you just don't care? You definitely need a fucking hug. Startups need hugs all the time. Startup guy at the back. The important thing is like when you're starting something, no one gives a shit about you, okay? No one cares. You have no credibility, you have no reputation. You might have come from like Ogilvy, Cape Town with your like glass building. And your bio might say ex-Ogilvy, Cape Town, but currently no one fucking cares, okay? So that's why you have to be able to tell the story so that you can sell this, so that you can be awesome in your own right. Can't see the preview of the words for my next slide, so I'm just rolling with this a little bit. Man up, don big girl panties so we can be equally affording to both sexes. Big girl panties, man up. Okay? But whatever you do, you have to deliver, okay? Because you can't say you're fucking awesome and then under-deliver. Okay? Creative packaging. When we started Retroviral, I came from London and then I came to South Africa to start the business. And then I created a Skype number and we said on our business cards that I had a London office. Because I had a Skype number that said we were based in London too. Creative packaging. Most of the calls I got through on that London Skype number were from Indians from India trying to sell me SEO or some other solution. And the best is, have you guys ever had this? I get a lot of calls on my phone from Skype numbers that say San Francisco, okay? At a time when people in San Francisco were actually sleeping. And then I've got someone on the phone. This is a true story. Hello, Mr. Mike. I am phoning from San Francisco. My name is Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay? That's what happens. Once you start creating Skype numbers, you get some crazy calls from all over the world. And every time, that hasn't had the effect that it had, but in terms of putting that number on the business card, like it just gives people like a second piece of perspective. Like, do they have a London office? I don't have a London office. I never claimed that we have. But when people have called me saying, can you do work in London? Fuck yes, we can do work in London. It's the internet. It's the global community. Yeah? Internet never sleeps. The internet has no location. Okay? I becomes we. I see so many people make this mistake when they first start out their own thing, right? It talks about the I. You're all fucking eye specialists. Okay? Is that your mom over there? Yeah. Sorry, I must stop saying the F word. Is it okay? She looks a bit cool. You've got a creative child. You're used to swearing. That's fine.
She taught me how to swear.
She taught him how to swear. Okay? When you're telling your story, it's all about the greater whole. It's about the we. I mean, these things sound very obvious, but we're terrible at doing this, most of us, okay? What is like, no one cares what I think, but people care what the collective we thinks. And I think that's how you sell your agency, your concept, your startup. You have to sell yourself bigger than you are. It's like every man's kind of promise. Okay? Me in a spreadsheet becomes our finance department. Okay? This is also a great one. Sherry, you understand this one? This is a great one because when I'm phoning the client being like almost a nice guy with my client's hat on, hey, hi client, love you, give us all the money. And the next one I'd be like, fuck guys, we can't do that project until you've paid. Finance is kicking me in the ass. Listen, you're my homeboy, Ross, but finance. They're just like, we're not doing anything until you pay. You know, that allows you to separate those two personalities and that duality between having your brand and having the stuff and the hard stuff that you don't necessarily want to do, but you have to do it. Because especially when you're starting your own thing, financial fears will cripple you, and not getting your money in quick enough will cripple you. And I think that's a lesson for the startup people, the Josie Hub people in particular. Like there's a lot of issues with startups, and the biggest problem is cash flow. And South Africa is unforgiving in terms of failed startups. Like, we can live the South African dream, which isn't very great right now, but the important thing is that, you know, like, we aren't encouraged to fail. And cash flow will definitely kill you. That's the downer for the day, so we can smile now. Da 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 da. Okay? In June, Retroviral turns 5. So sweet. So we're like going to nursery school now. Okay? And I think that the really exciting thing for us is that every day we learn something new. And starting things, whether it's like internally you're creating a project or leading something up, or starting something in the external space, or starting your first own business and company. Like, a lot of the stuff is super scary, and it never gets easier. The more you grow, the more staff you have, the more headaches you have, the more, I don't know, dead grannies you have. That girl's trying to laugh and she's putting her hand over her face. She's like, shit, I'm the only one laughing at this joke. I'm going to be the one that hates grannies, and everyone's going to judge me. And now I'm blushing because he's picked me out. Shit. Hiding. She's done that like brace position on the airline. I've never actually seen that executed in real life. Now it's implemented in real life. Go, you good thing. Okay? And over the 5 years we've learned a lot of things. Like, PR is actually one of the most important things you can do. Holla, Tribeca! There we go. It really is. Like, utilizing your networks, utilizing the people that you engage with, the people that you talk to on a daily basis, the little coffee sessions that you have. Startups love having coffees. Hey, should we go for coffee? Yes, great. Let's go to Dump Shop. You know? That's how it is. People spend so much goddamn time and money having coffees, but are you actually delivering on your objective? To sell your product, get people excited about your service, or make more money. Okay? We're all like creative here, and like, well, I swear I want to go to India on like a retreat and go do Reiki, or whatever the fuck you do in your creative times. I know Ross does like Bikram yoga. That's his escape. You know? But, and this is my friend over here taking pictures of the iPad. She's stopped now. Or Samsung Galaxy Tab.
Yeah, it's all the UK students.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Fantastic. Love that. Please get more of these pictures. Sweet. Awesome. Okay? So we've been bragging since before day one. I think it's an important lesson. Like, South Africans, we've got this like weird thing, like we don't want to boast and we don't want to come across as a douchebag. But sometimes you can find the balance between being humble and being a douchebag. I get that balance wrong a lot of the time. But it's important, like when you're telling your friends and family, my dad still thinks that I play on Facebook and Twitter for a living. That's what he tells his friends. And he has like Tuesday morning golf. How's Michael's Facebook venture turning out? It's great. Posting some statuses. Getting those little thumbs up. Boom. Living the thumbs up dream, man. And it's really important to like get people to buy into your story. Because if you don't have that story where you're the hero, and like your challenges are the villain, and the conflict is the daily struggle. Like entrepreneurs, especially in South Africa, like we're so scared to tell people how fucking scary and tough it is. It is, it's hard. It's hard out there. It's like being in the trenches, yo. Okay? But the important thing is like it really is difficult, and the more that you share with other people, you learn their stories, you understand what they're going through, like that's the best way to understand the struggle and learn like how to grow from there. And the only way that anything will improve here from a job and unemployment and all those heavy things point of view is for us to create businesses and for like 1 million people to create a job for one other person. Because that's 2 million new jobs, including the person who started it, because you guys aren't great at maths. Cool. Okay. So there are various tactics to brag. You can win fancy awards. You can have a radical viral video. You can do good old-fashioned PR.
Or you can stand on the top of this building and shout from a megaphone, I am fucking amazing. Yes, hear my roar, Josie Hub.
That option doesn't really go down. That goes more into the quadrant of douchebaggery than the actual humble part. But yeah, these are some good things to think about. And I think like it's really important that you tell your story. You tell your story in your unique way, what your business is doing differently, whether you're a large corporation, a smaller design boutique agency, or you are starting out and doing your own thing. Like you have to tell people your story, and you have to get comfortable and feel like supportive enough to be able to go out and say, hey, this is my story, this is what I'm doing, I'm having a cool time. Because we don't realize how important it is telling our story, because you start figuring out what it is, and that's the succinct message of saying, my name is Ross, I started Nice Work, we do work that is nice. Sometimes even more than nice. That's what was so great about nice work, is that they pegged it at a very basic level of nice. So like when they got there, listen, we're going to do a nice job. Sure, it'll be nice. And then when you get it and it's like better than nice, and all that picture's pretty, that was pretty work. That's better than nice. So Ross, you've over-delivered once again, holy shit. And that's actually where him and Ben came up with the whole nice work name. It was setting the bar low, so that they could always over-deliver. So this is a video that is going to start playing automatically, I believe.
No, I changed that.
Oh, you changed that. Okay, thank you. Just throw a curveball. But let me just do a build-up before you play.
Let's move the volume.
Okay. So, our journey was quite an interesting one. We started Retroviral in the June 2010. It was like Zaminamina, waka waka, Zaminamina. It's time for Africa, Zaminamina, Ross didn't have that on the iPod earlier, but I did ask for it. And 2010 was incredible because it was such a fucking vibe, and like I was dressing up in like these tights, like morph suits, and like going to the football and like living the dream. And geez, there was like lots of those posters of like white and black hands, like doing these things. It was like the proper South African dream, and it was a vibe. And you know, like I had such an interesting ride because in the September of 2010, I was armed robbed at my house with a friend of mine. And it was a fucking frightening experience with 4 motherfucking dudes in your face with guns and things tying you up with your shoelaces. Okay? But that's the reality of some of the bad stuff. And then, yeah, I had my fucking iPhone stolen and my MacBook, first world problems. And, true story. A few days later, I won an iPhone on AfriHost, just like on the Twitters. I don't know if the community manager felt sorry for me. Shane, this guy's fucking armed rob, give him the phone. But you know, back in action a few days later, I wrote a blog post. You know, people were saying, why don't you go back to London or Perth? You know, like that is the alternative Perth. It's like London or Perth. What are your options? And I was like, I wrote this blog post about, I'm not going to let these 4 evil motherfuckers like change my perspective on things. You know, South Africa's got a lot of amazing shit. Once again, it's challenging. South Africa is like an abusive partner. South Africa, it's challenging. oh, hey girl, what happened last night? South Africa, come home drunk again? No, I just, we installed a new railing, powder coated, and I slipped and fell my face on it. Listen, you in South Africa need to go for some counseling. It's like, yeah, but I love him. I love him so much. It's in my heart. Home is where the heart is. And so I wrote this blog post about how don't let these 4 evil motherfuckers change your mindset. There's such a lot of great stuff here. And the fascinating response about that, and the reason why I tell this story, not for pity, is because like everything that transpired off the back of that was based on how fucking rad the internet is, and how like the decision to start this business was like really justified by all of these next steps that happened over 2010. So yeah, I ended up writing this blog post, and I got so many responses. Like it was like hundreds of comments, people shared it. I even had O's like come up to me at the Baron and be like, "But I fucking read your blog post. Shit, fucking hectic. Glad you're fine, bruh." Yeah. So when bankers on that level were starting to read blogs, that's when we knew there was something that was going to transpire of this whole internet thing. Then a few days later, a friend of mine, she was working at Mini, she was like, listen, oh, before that, my fucking car got stolen. Like 3 weeks later, my car got stolen outside of my office, and I was like, oh my fuck, this is terrible. Fuck you, universe, this is terrible. But still, I kept I can turn that frown upside down and just kept on my way. See, because in my story, I basically live a musical out every day. Yeah. That's what happens when you're the only straight guy working at PR agencies for 7 years. Ta-da! Hey ladies! Yeah! Okay. So then the mini PR people, Jesus, getting fucking hot in here. The mini PR people phone you like, shit dude, having a fucking cool time. Listen, we're launching this Countryman and we're going to give it to you for 6 weeks. And I said, well, let's slap a hashtag on it. let's go drive it down. And I was like, I love fancy dressing, so I wanted to go to all the cricket matches. So I was like, I'm going to take a car, I'm going to go to Loftus or Supersport Park, and then I'm going to go to Durban, and then I'm going to go to Cape Town. And of those 3 venues, like in law of averages, I'm going to win the fancy dress competition, at least in one of those places. So I went in hard, and I had a lot of determination. Okay, dressed up as like this Lego character, did the whole vibe, like woo, got onto TV and stuff. Lego Man wasn't a hit at Supersport Park. Afrikaans people are over Lego. Moved on to other things. Then I went down to Durban. I thought Lego has to win in Durban. Durbanites love Lego. Nah, no chance, no opportunity there. So then I went and found a friend of a friend who was a makeup artist, and I was like, listen, I'm going to win this competition with Castle to be the super fan. I need to go full branding on this one. So I had my Lycra tights with me as always, like in backup in the car. Put the Lycra tights on, those were yellow. Then I was like, sweet, I want you to turn me into like a human Castle draft. That was the brief. And then she painted me gold, and then she painted me white over my face. I had like a literal beer head on my head. Fuck creative, eh? Sure. And then I had the logo on my chest. So how could Super Castle Draft Man not win a prize? Obviously I won the fancy dress competition, won a trip for me, and just me actually, and a whole bunch of other strangers, to go to Nagpur to watch South Africa play India in the last World Cup. Fascinating experience. Then a few weeks later, there was this Daredevil Speedo run with Etana, which is now Hollard, and from there I did some PR stuff to get the word out around testicular cancer, and then I won a trip to Vegas. Fuck, it was like an Oprah show. It was just like winning shit in 2010. And then I did some like contract work with Tribeca, and they just sent me to New Zealand to go watch the Rugby World Cup 3rd and 4th playoff and the final with MasterCard. Holy fucking shit. So I was able to create the story about like being the untouchable in terms of winning competitions. People thought I had this charmed life, but a lot of them didn't realize all that shit that came before it. So they were like, once they heard the story, it became a greater piece of storytelling and a piece of narrative to say how amazing the internet is and how interconnected everything is. I tweeted the other night, the internet, I'm just making sure you're all listening. Okay. In the internet, we are all 6 retweets of separation from Kevin Bacon. True story. I tweeted that, I didn't get a retweet or a response from Kevin Bacon. So he fucked my process on that and my experiment. So this video, this was after like our first year of being in existence. We won some work with Nando's in 2010, which was fantastic. Once again, going back to the fact that I pitched it and I was like, we can deliver on this. And they said to us, cool, we've got this poster. Julius Malema wants to shut down Twitter. So we've created this poster at Black River. It says WTF, Juju lol. Okay, that was the part of that thing. And in the past, Black River and their media company had always placed those posters in newspapers. They paid for the space and they placed it. So it was a pure advertising play. And we said to them, guys, fuck, why are you spending money to put this in the Sunday Times or in all these expensive media sources? Like, rather seed it on the internet. Huh, that's interesting, you say, seed it on the internet. Well, we're not going to pay you any money. We're going to test you. This is a great brand trick. We're going to test you and see how good you are at your job, Mr. Startup. Let's see how good you really are. Here's the poster at 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. At that time, it was like everyone was off the internet. Cape Town had been on holiday for that weekend since 11 a.m. that morning. And I was like, fuck. Now I've like bigged myself up so hard about how I'm going to seed your poster, get people talking, go viral trend on the internet, yeah. And they said, here you go. So I was like, oh fuck, now I've shot myself in the foot. This is going to be a serious underdeliver. So we took that poster and picked up the phone and like the keyboard, because that's when I'm like in my serious work mode. Space, space. And we took that piece of content and seeded it to a few relevant key influencers. That lady's fucking yawning, she's over there, she needs another double shot. She needs to find the company called Quadruple Shot. You guys are doing, am I right? Shame, she's blushing now. So we took that poster and we got it onto like Vanessa Raffaele's blog, and Cape Town Girl tweeted it, and a few other people, and Lelo from Just Curious in the early days of that. And then I went to bed after I posted to my own posterous blog, woke up in the morning, logged onto the internet, and then on my own blog alone, we had 7,000 unique views of that one poster. And I think 10 and 5 might have even shared that one at the start. It was one of the good ones. And that really showed off like this incredible interest and desire from South African public to really engage and wanting to like consume good content, and good content that had a brand narrative, that had a story, that had the hero and villain and the conflict, and had all of those good pieces. And from working on that project, next minute signing NDAs, we worked on seeding the Cell C spoof campaign with Kagiso versus Trevor Noah, that whole thing. And with that video alone, we got 100,000 views in 7 days. I mean, it was me and one other person working together at the time, so there were only 2 people that we could pat each other on the bums with excitement and high five. So the high fives were limited. But like that kind of thing was really incredible to show how there was no media spend, there was nothing except for PR and just good old-fashioned digital PR. 100,000 views in 6 days, talks about this piece of content in New Zealand, in Australia, because of all the expats in London. Like shit was trending all over the place. Trevor and Kagiso were having tweets, and this was before Trevor was super cool and famous. He was just semi-famous. And then from there, 1 year later, we worked on the Last Dictator campaign, and that got 1.5 million motherfucking views just on the Nando's YouTube channel alone without a cent spent on media. Nowadays you can't do that shit because there's too much noise and you have to spend money on YouTube. Spend media money with your production money, if there are any brands in the house. But that just shows you the power of that like viral, proper organic share and how important the internet can be. So whether your story is a niche or a global premise, very important that you spread it with the right people. And that's why we advocate working with bloggers and online influencers all the time, because they really are powerful and they have the ability to spread shit far and wide. So this was the first video we ever made. I'm almost out of time, I think. So this was the first video we made in 2012, start of 2012 to look back at 2011. And since then we've made one of these videos every year. So every year it's like a retrospective, see what I did there, looking back at the stuff that we've done, and for us to be like, this is our humble brag. This is like how every start of a new year we're saying, fuck, we worked on some amazing stuff. And not everyone always knows that, because sometimes we're just a cog as part of a greater whole with like a Black River or an Ogilvy or some other brand that's involved or some other agency that's involved. So for us to be able to tell our story, we told that through video, and we do this every year. So this was the first one we ever did. I'm not going to show you the whole one, but you can get the vibe. Ross?
Just sit next.
No, it didn't work. Let's try. Wait,
Again, forward.
let's try this one. It
No,
might
press
start.
again. And again.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Ah, thank you. Good one. This was shooting at my mom and dad's house, me and one cameraman, and my wonderfully manicured hands, FYI. going to stop that one there. That's on our YouTube channel if you want to check it out further. Oh, there's one missing. No, there we go. I think it's the next one. Yeah, Ross, there's something happening. I've got another video somewhere. Maybe this one. It's that one that you guys did. Thank you. So the next one is that my last slide?
Oh, the thank you's in the wrong place. Hold on.
There we go.
We're there.
Okay.
We're there.
So, okay, before you play that.
Here you go, press the
Thanks.
button. It's like you did last time.
Thanks. I'm fucking in digital. I actually made a very offsides joke to Ross earlier. I was like, well, how can he have an event at a venue that doesn't like disabled people? I mean, what if you arrive today and you're in a wheelchair or you're on crutches? So he said, Mike, you would just put them on your back and carry them up the stairs. So that's what the solution was. Creative solutions. Too much. I had you with me. And I lost you at disabled jokes. Fuck you, Oscar. Sorry. Even too far. Okay, let's backtrack 5 seconds there. Everyone's laughing, great time. Woo, yes. No offense to anybody. So at the end of last year, we've been doing some work with the Nice Work guys, and we briefed them to do more than nice work, and we said to them, listen, we want to do like a reinvention of our CI. And it's coming up to us being 5, like we needed a little bit of a reinvention, and Ross and I argued all the time because I was like, don't change the logo, like it's something that's really close. And he was like, okay, we won't change the logo. And then obviously, as a designer he is, he changed the logo slightly, and it was a pivot for the startup people out there. And what happened was we then created our latest video using the elements from the CI that was going to be launched. So this video acted as 2 kind of objectives. The one was to launch the new CI and to show off the work that we worked on last year. So this is the latest video done by the wonderful people at Nice Work and they're clever people. And this is my last video, so I hope you enjoy this. Cool, so thank you very much. the one thing I just wanted to say, and this goes back to the earlier point about creatively packaging what you're going to do and setting people's expectations. The important thing is that a lot of what we do doesn't exist. So we have to try and pioneer. I use the line, we tried to create tomorrow what didn't exist today. And I think that's the scary thing about a lot of the work that all of us in the space do, like whether you brand, whether you agency, whether you design, you creative, client service. A lot of the stuff that we pitch, it doesn't exist. And the reason why it doesn't exist is because we have to create new things so that we can get our brand the most remarkable kind of interest that it can from its target market and its audience. If we're just doing the same old shit all the time, people won't care. So that's why it is scary a lot of times. I mean, I have to go and sit on shoots with clients telling them, hey, don't worry if you get fired for a failure of this campaign. We've got a desk in our office. Come on, hot desk. Come on down. We've got great coffee. And we have to be the ones that like take the responsibility for it at the end of the day. But if your strategy is sound and it's built on like strong enough insights, the idea will work. And you just have to have faith. And you have to have the most faith because you can't let your clients see that you're panicking and freaking out. If you're a startup, you need to have faith in your business model, your idea, and your like minimum viable product. You have to get something out there and start creating it. I was saying to Sam from Josie Hub outside earlier that the media has given us the perception that, oh, I'm just going to start up with an idea, I don't even have to have built anything, I can just sell it for $1 billion to Facebook. Like that's not going to happen. So you have to create something that's actually going to work. And sometimes it's not going to work as well as you've expected it, but fucking make it. Let's see what we can do with that. Thank you very much for having me. Thanks for nice work. Thanks, guys. Any questions?
You should truly humble. You've got time for one question.
Time for one question, apparently. Make it a fucking goodie. Don't waste these other people's time. Huh? Now scare the people. Any questions? No judges. It's a safe space, free of trust. There you sir.
Just with regards to like return rate on like cold calling people when you're starting out, how is that feeling?
Fortunately,
like people you knew it at the companies first, get like heads up, how did it
So I had two positive sides of things, right? So when I was coming back, I've been in London for 2 years, so I had a network that was already established from like a journalist point of view because of having worked in PR. These lovely people I used to work with, they gave me a desk for the first few months while I was getting on my feet, so they were super helpful and super supportive. The one piece of advice that I got was don't let financial fears cripple you when you start something. And that was the best advice that I took, because I managed to save like a couple months worth of salary to put towards the tough times so that I could pay rent and I could feed myself and I could do all that stuff. And I knew that nothing was going to happen overnight, but with having that fear of finance kind of subdued for the first few months, like that was a great help. Having the space to work from was super helpful. And then the network of people that I either went to varsity with or who had been previous clients, they were either more senior people in agency then, or they were like brand managers, or they'd started climbing the corporate ladder on that front. So I had enough of an open door that I could pick up the phone and say, hey, this is what we've started, it's something new. I had a different story because I wanted to be more of a hybrid between PR, digital, and activation, so that it was like something that was touching a little bit more points. And I had my story in place. I had my elevator pitch to go in and say, maybe it started with the coffee, maybe it started with the lunch, but like, hey, this is what you're doing, that's what I'm up to. I'd love to come chat to you, your team, your agency, and see if there's ways to get involved. And yeah, it's not about what you know, it's who you know. That's my friend who has a Geordie dad who always tells me, and he's quite right, you know, like leverage of any kind of network that you have. And in terms of like journalists, South Africa's a very small place. All of us probably know one journalist, even if they write for the fucking Santon Chronicle, you know? So like that kind of thing, push any kind of PR opportunity that you can to tell your story. And even if it is just telling influential people within your network who have the opportunity to kind of spill over into other more influential networks, that's the best advice I can throw out there. One more? Anyone? Yes, ma'am.
I think you kind of answered it, but you spoke about blogging and how it's influential.
Yeah.
Then where do you start?
Where do you start with blogging? If you're a blogger yourself. So blogging is one of those hard things. You shouldn't be blogging for any other reason other than yourself. Because at first you've got an audience of 0. So, oh, I wrote such lovely words today, like you need to please yourself. Fuck, I'm so smart. Wow. Okay, this is my opinion, you know, it might be completely different. But if you've got a passion point in something that you're interested in, I mean, maybe you want to blog about pink ponies, for all I know, okay? Every day you're writing that post about pink ponies, and you're interested in that's fine. And your initial phase, you'll start sharing your content with people that are within your friendship group, like you'll post links to Facebook maybe, or you'll share with people via email or WhatsApp or whatever platforms that you use. And slowly, like that base of people who are your friends, they're more inclined to read that content, and then for that to be shared then onto their pages or via their friends or via their emailers. And I think it's one of those things, like sometimes like a little post can go incredibly well. Like if you look at Brand Slut, her trick now is writing inspirational posts about Joburg. Oh, this is why you should never come to Joburg, and then she posts all the amazing pictures. She's a link baiter, that one. You just watch her. But it's also like, I mean, the important thing is to understand your analytics and see what people are actually consuming. You know, at the back there, the guy with no hair and the cool shirt, looks like he's in camo, so he has to move a little bit for you to actually see him. But, you know, he gets such incredible insights from, like, even like the Nando's posters that we have sent them in the past. Like, he can say to me, fuck, we got 10,000 views on that Malema post, but we only got like 3,000 views on this other post about Easter, for example. And by creating those relationships and the understanding of the background of what people are browsing, what they're seeing, what devices they're coming from, whether it be desktop or mobile, like all those things give you insight as a publisher. You need to treat yourself as a publisher and write seriously and check for typos and spelling and all that kind of stuff. Make it great, make it as good as possible, so that when someone finds it by chance, then wow, there's a whole bunch of other content that they didn't know about you, and they start becoming a fan. I mean, how many years has 10 and 5 been going for now? 6 years. And how long did it take you to start making money off advertising?
So we weren't making money off any ad sales until about 2012, and then we didn't really want to.
So you were like, you've lived half your life without having any media money.
Yeah.
So that's the point of like how determined and dogged it is. And then like sometimes, I mean, he was able to get 1 or 2 people to write with him. He's an amazing editor that also helps the process. But there, it's a creative niche that people want to go to look at the campaigns around South Africa. And he spotted that niche, that something that didn't exist. You know, the people were like, either agencies were housing the content on their own pages or the production companies on their own channels, but there was no like one curated space of all that content. So there you go, sold. There you go. So yeah, spend some money with 10 and 5. Cool. Anyone else? I literally have to go to a fucking pitch. So shit. Oh, we have 2 pitches today. Pitches be crazy, yo. Okay. So.